We find small for size babies, even 600 grams, 700 grams babies in the neonates surviving today because of the advanced technology. And these kids require blood. And for them, we cannot take a blood bag and give like that. They may require only 5 ml, 10 ml, and their immunity is zero. When a child is born, the immunity is zero. In an unborn, it is impossible. The child will immediately die in utero. So what we do is, we have purchased the sterile connecting equipment from Japan, whereby if the child wants only 5 ml, we connect 2 bags in a sterile fashion so that only that particular quantity goes in and that blood enters the child's body. The government also has initially conceptualized what is known as a Regional Blood Transfusion Center, RBTC, whereby it is the hub and spoke model. There will be one hub in every area, and that will be the main center, collecting the blood, doing all the tests required, segregating into components, storing it in the proper way, and delivering it to the satellite centers.
Hi. Blood is thicker than water. As the old adage says, it's only about blood. The story of life is written in the letters red, blood red. Let me now take you to a wonderful story into a blood bank that makes such a difference to a country, India. Hello, I am Meenamma, and I'm a storyteller and a trainer. I wish to share my chats with inspirational Indians around me on various topics of global interest, with the hope that my audience may design a better life from my episodes. Each talk is an inward journey. Come travel with me today to meet an extraordinary human being and a great Indian. But do watch the episode till the end and subscribe to Meet Meenamma on YouTube, Instagram, and other handles. I will be putting out short clips and exciting reels on this episode for you to get valuable insights in lesser time. Fasten your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I have an exceptional guest with a wealth of experience in the field of pathology and blood banking. Welcome to the podcast, Dr. Sugandhi. With an MD in pathology and trained at CMC Vellore, Sugandhi has dedicated over 20 years to promoting voluntary blood donations, successfully conducting awareness sessions for around 4,000 NSS faculty and frequent appearances on televisions. She is the medical director of the A.S. Raja Voluntary Blood Bank at Visakhapatnam. Notably, Sugandhi has organized the first ever National Blood Bank Conference in Andhra Pradesh, which attracted 650 delegates from across the country and abroad, showcasing a commitment to fostering collaboration and knowledge sharing. In 2012, the blood bank, headed by her, earned the prestigious State First Award, highlighting its excellence to service. During the challenging times of the COVID lockdown, Sugandhi innovated to ensure that thalassemia children continue to receive the care that they really needed. As a regular faculty member at national conferences, she is deeply engaged in the advancement of blood banking practices. With a vision to establish the first 100% voluntary blood center in the state, providing equitable access to quality blood products, and plans to launch a regional blood center for North Coastal Andhra Pradesh, her dedication to this cause is so inspiring. Join me today as we dive into the journey and explore the future of blood banking in our own region. Welcome, Sugandhi. How are you?
Fine, Minu. Nice to see you here in this.
Finally, we are having this bloody talk, and I've been waiting because there is a lot that is happening in the country India, but there is a lot that is not happening also, for which we need to talk. And blood banking, blood donation is the easiest kind of thing that can happen, but is not happening correctly. So Sugandhi, you and I have been talking about blood in a very deep manner. But first and foremost, tell me, what inspired you, Dr. Sugandhi, to get into blood banking per se?
Meenu, uh, good you asked that history. Everything has to have roots to grow, and this is one such incident. We were just sitting around the dining table, my father-in-law, Mr. S. Raja, and my husband, Dr. Shiv Prasad. And my father-in-law was recollecting his experience with blood banks in the state as he was a district governor of the Lions.
Correct.
He had gone, inaugurated several blood banks, and after a few years, when he goes there, the blood bank is no longer there. And he saw that the need for a proper blood bank is the need of the hour in our area. And right at that time, my husband, Dr. Shiv Prasad, he has completed his DM gastroenterology in All India Institute, and he came down saying, I just do not know how I'll practice in this city. If I am in All India Institute, I have to just order blood and it will come.
Correct.
And for liver failure cases and cirrhosis cases, sometimes the patient comes vomiting blood in liters.
Correct.
And where will I go for safe blood? And this was the kind of conversation that was going on. And I had just completed my MBBS. And then I said, okay, then I'll take MD Pathology and start this service for Visakhapatnam. And it just started like that over the dining.
You know, Sugandhi, you are the daughter-in-law of a very eminent person in our city, Shri S. Raja. He was a great social worker, and actually he has done so much of good in different walks of life, come up in a very hard way, and you have actually taken his name ahead, because you know, in leaving the world, you leave back your footprints on the sands of time. But you have taken up the baton from his hand and you're giving service back to society. But what are the big challenges in starting a blood bank, and that too at this level? I'm sure that it was not easy for you. Tell us, what are the main challenges you had when you started?
Yeah, when our family decided that, the only thing I told my family is I should not be going around asking people for funds, one thing, because I'm not comfortable with that. And I want to be really knowledgeable in what I do. I don't want to just start something without knowledge. So then I went and did my MD Pathology. And after that, I worked in CMC Vellore Blood Bank as a registrar.
Wow.
In order to gain practical experience, because after doing MD Pathology in Visakhapatnam, I realized at that time there is no blood bank postings even.
For you to gain any experience. Oh, yes.
And so I thought I should go to a premier center, and having come from Tamil Nadu, I was very comfortable with CMC. And I knew the professors there, and they were more than happy to give me that post. And so I worked there. And what you can learn in an institution like CMC in one day, sometimes you cannot learn even after a year in other institutions.
Very, very true, very true.
And they were very good teachers at that time. And Dr. Maman Chandy, who is considered the father of bone marrow transplantation in India, he was there at that time, and he was directly looking after the blood bank also. So our knowledge was of a very high quality he could give us, even in that short duration. And I'm very thankful to that institution for that.
Sugandhi, your blood bank is celebrated 30 years this year. 99, congratulations. It's a great feat, because as you said, many blood banks start with a good intention, but they're not able to sustain because of the situation and the ecosystem. But over the last 30 years, you must have seen different trends, you know. Every year we get different trends in every field. So what are the new trends that you see in blood banking per se in India and all over the world?
Blood banking is one of the fastest developing fields of medicine in the world and in India. So much so, in the last a decade or so, a separate MD transfusion medicine has been put up in India. which was already there before in advanced countries. So, uh, the field of blood banking assists the specialists, almost all specialists today, without which they cannot do their procedures. Let it be cardiology, let it be oncology, let it be any surgery, let it be dealing with newborns or pregnant mothers delivering. You need the right quality of blood bank support to give the right products to the patient. And so we interact a lot with all specialists to give the right product.
Sugandhi, there is a lot of requirement for blood. Nowadays, most of the pregnancies are done by the C-sections, and also neonatal cases are on the rise. I mean, problems. How do you handle pregnancies and women blood requirements for children?
Very good, Meenu. You asked me a very relevant question because the mother and the child both are in a crisis when there is a delivery going on. And as you rightly said, a lot of cesarean sections, everything is happening nowadays. We insist that every gynecologist reserves a blood for the mother, because one of the major reasons why a mother passes away suddenly after a delivery is postpartum hemorrhage. Suddenly the uterus doesn't shrink and starts pouring blood after the delivery, and that is one of the fatalities that every gynecologist will expect. I do not know the statistics, 1 in a few hundred cases, and blood becomes an emergency at that time. So that is one aspect. And in so many cases, the woman is already anemic when she is pregnant. So I have given blood for transfusions for so many pregnant ladies, so that the child develops properly and the mother is also developing properly to give birth to a proper child. And today in India, with IVFs and procedures coming up, we find small for size babies, even 600 grams, 700 grams babies in the neonates surviving today because of the advanced technology. And these kids require blood. And for them, we cannot take a blood bag and give like that. They may require only 5 ml, 10 ml, and their immunity is zero. When a child is born, the immunity is zero. So we have to reserve the same bag for the child for the entire few weeks and give 5 ml, 10 ml as the neonatologist wants, whenever he wants from that bag, and save the child. We are proud to say we have saved so many 500 grams to 900 grams children. By now I can't tell you how many. And not only that, even unborn children, we are giving blood now.
In the fetus?
Yes.
How's that?
We have an equipment called sterile connecting device. Infection is one of the main hazards of blood banking. If you don't do your procedures properly, the likelihood of infection is high, bacterial and otherwise. So in an unborn, it is impossible. The child will immediately die in utero. So what we do is, we have purchased the sterile connecting equipment from Japan, whereby if the child wants only 5 ml, we connect 2 bags in a sterile fashion, so that only that particular quantity goes in and that blood enters the child's body. So I know 2 children who have been born like that, and I have seen them also after a few years. And that gives so much pleasure.
Through the umbilicus or through?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, okay. Lovely, lovely. Now we have this, harvesting of stem cells. Nowadays, a lot of people are doing it. Can we do that for blood also? I mean, does that happen for blood also? Can we also use the stem cells to grow the blood?
Today, bone marrow transplant has become peripheral blood stem cell collection. 80% of the bone marrow cells are collected today by that equipment. In fact, I have that equipment in the blood bank, but being a community blood center, we cannot use it for that purpose. And the donor is given medication to bring out the stem cells into circulation, and then this process is handled. So all this contributes a lot
Yes, yes, there's lots happening in science, and the blood bank is not just a bank.
Bank.
You can
Yeah.
actually get
In
so
fact,
much
before starting the blood banking procedures and starting our own blood bank, I went to the New York Blood Center, which is considered one of the biggest centers in the world for research and therapy purposes, apart from having the blood bank. And when I went there in 1994, the doctor welcomed me so much and showed me the stem cells extraction,
Wow, those
which
days
wasn't
itself.
happening in India at that
What a
time.
thrill, and imagine you saw it in the earlier
That was
days.
such an inspiration for me to come back and start blood banking.
Amazing, amazing. What a story. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing this. Thank you.
Thank you, Minu. Thank you so much for doing this for me. I know we have delayed it for months, but it gives me a lot of pleasure.
Over the last so many years, what are the technological trends, and what is the impact? Now you have artificial intelligence, you have so many things that are happening technologically. How does it impact the blood bank and its efficiency?
Blood bank is one of the major departments where technology is playing a great role today, because blood bank is like a factory, a pharmacological factory. Like if you go to drug factories today, the big ones, they'll have so many instruments and procedures and concepts. Blood bank has to have all those. That's why it is under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act.
Okay.
It's however much care you take to prepare a drug properly. Blood is a drug which is going directly into the patient's body.
Correct.
It needs all the care in the preparation, starting from collection to entering the patient's body, what we call vein to vein. And this has technologically advanced immensely. Previously, people used to have a slide in which they'll do one grouping test.
Yes.
And then for cross matching also, they'll have another slide, put the patient's blood and the donors,
See whether clumping is happening.
happening or not, and that's it.
Correct.
Today in my blood bank, I have about 5 crores worth of equipment.
Wow, wow, wow. Yes.
And just last month, we took around 70 lakhs worth of equipment, 70 to 80 lakhs. Of course, we cannot afford to pay outright. We do it in an EMI form, and that is the way the advancements go. In fact, Minu, in the last 30 years, I would have changed all my equipments at least 4 or 5 times.
To keep abreast with the technology, is it?
And added so many more. And I believe in following US FDA approvals or CE approvals in this. So I use equipments mostly from US, Japan, Germany, China.
You know, you brought up a very interesting topic. How is blood donation, blood banking different in the United States? See, in United States, they have a very good system. I mean,
It's a fantastic system.
So how is it different from there to India?
Being a developed nation, US was always on the forefront of, inculcating voluntary blood donation. So much so, today in the US, 3 to 5% of the population are voluntary donors. There's just no concept of replacement for decades. And in rare situations where some specific blood is required, US exports blood to countries, any specific group and things like that. And an organization known as AABB, an accrediting organization, has done immense, service in promoting the concepts of voluntary blood donation.
Does, you have...
When I started a blood bank in India,
Ah,
there were very few donors,
correct, correct.
very few donors.
But has the situation changed?
We thought in our family, okay, our family is linked up with Rotary, Lions, JCs, and all the clubs. All we have to do is ask them, they'll come forward, they'll lend us a hand in promoting the concept, and soon we'll be able to take care of the needs of Vizag. Little did we realize that on the ground the situation will be totally different.
Sugandhi, blood is the only thing that you can donate freely, and I think every 3 months your people who are healthy are eligible, although there are criteria. It's the only thing that doesn't hurt you at all, and every time you donate, you save 3 to 5 lives depending upon how healthy you are, and it's so easy to do. but still the awareness of blood donation in our country, especially in the youth, is lacking. Why do you think this is it? Why are people not aware? Why are people suspicious of the system?
You hit the nail on the head, Meenu. That's because in our country it's a mixed practice. The voluntary blood donation is there, but the way it is being promoted is not adequate. It's not adequate. People are always under the impression that the blood banks are sitting and selling blood. They are utilizing blood sellers and they are not doing the proper testing, and therefore they are not coming forward to be regular voluntary blood donors. And this is the problem. Slowly with internet and everything, the youth are getting more motivated. Today in the cities, the acute problem has gone down a lot, but still there is a wide disparity once you go to the rural area. That's because everybody establishes blood bank only in the cities.
Correct.
And nobody is rural areas. This is why the government also has initially conceptualized what is known as a regional blood transfusion center, RBTC, whereby it is the hub and spoke model. You know, there will be one hub in every area, and that will be the main center, collecting the blood, doing all the tests required, segregating into components, storing it in the proper way, and delivering it to the satellite centers, so that testing and collection, which are crucial and which require a lot of equipment, infrastructure, process and people, is centralized, and thereby the regulatory mechanism also can work better, because it is simpler to supervise 3 or 4 major blood banks rather than go to small blood banks. In Visakhapatnam post COVID, I see an eruption of blood banks.
Very true.
And I don't even know who the doctor is in those blood banks. So you can imagine.
Tell me, does the government have regulation? I mean, to set up a blood bank, should there be a regulation for it? Are there any guidelines? I mean, how can people just set up blood banks? Doesn't the government have any criteria to decide that you are capable or you are eligible? Is there something like that in India?
Yeah, there is a lot of documentation required to have a blood bank. But how it is becoming so, I think the government eased it a little post-COVID, thinking more health infrastructure is required. As a result, today I don't even know how many blood banks are there in the country, maybe 4,000. Whereas in a country like US, it is so centralized. There are 4 community blood banks, that's about it.
Yes.
For the entire US, which collects nearly 70% of the blood required for the country.
And they have so much in excess, they can give it away also.
Because they have developed the concept of voluntary blood donation, and their criteria for collecting or testing is way ahead, way ahead.
Tell me, Sugandhi, we have blood donors in the house. I've also donated. Tell us, tell the common man, how does blood donation start? I mean, what is the process right from the time they come to you to donate?
Anybody coming to donate blood voluntarily in our blood bank, we give them a red carpet welcome, because they are the lifeline. Correct. They are the true lifeline, voluntary blood donors. And Meenu, you have conducted blood donation camps. Yeah. And a camp organizer is near God. Because true voluntary blood donation depends on proper donor eligibility criteria. Okay, and only if the donor is perfectly eligible, we should accept that donor, and that is not enough. After that, he might silently have some diseases. So there are a set of mandatory tests which have to be done to make sure that he is not carrying any of these diseases, and then the blood has to be separated into various components as required. Today we have nearly 7 or 8 components which our blood bank is preparing, and then store each component in the temperature required for that component to survive. It is a humongous thing today. Yes. Yeah. And for in our blood bank today, there is no slides even. like for our blood grouping, we have installed a automated blood grouping analyzer from France.
Wow.
And this does it, whether it is the
totally
patient or the
computerized.
donor. And we have a software setup which is interlinked with all the major instruments, and every technician has to work through the software to avoid clerical errors.
Correct. Correct. So you this 5 crore investment, I saw it when I visited your blood bank. But you know, there is a misnomer. People feel that okay, people harvest the blood and then they sell it. But you don't, you know, there is a certain cost for storage and for maintenance of your equipment. And you all are an NGO. You work on the NGO module. You're not looking at a profit.
We are a public charitable trust.
So tell me, how does it work? Because you know, government hospitals, I mean, they're okay, but maybe corporate hospitals would charge a little more or some other. There is always a disparity. So I come and give you blood. Then the younger people say, no, I will not give blood, because when my necessity is there, they're asking me to pay. So explain to this the amount of money that is collected when a donor goes to get blood, or you know, when some family wants blood for an emergency. How does that work?
There is a GO put up by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare clearly on the net. Anybody can go and access that, and they constantly update how much should be the processing charges for which particular component also, from community blood banks like ours. Hospital blood banks can charge whatever they want because their process is different. We are a community blood bank and we strictly follow those processes, and anybody can countercheck. Every citizen should know this.
So, I mean, part of the legal rights, isn't it?
Yes,
Citizen should
very
know
much.
this.
But you cannot expect blood to be given just like that, because a certain amount of processing charges is a must, because it's very expensive. The cost of the blood bag, the cost of the equipment. To maintain these equipments, we have to be in contracts with all the MNC companies. Right. We have to pay doctors, we have to pay technicians, staff nurses, rent. There are at least 8 air conditioners in our place, and some of the blood banks have central air conditioners. We have a fire and safety equipment, a biomedical waste management, and a front office system, a back end office which maintains all the computers and activities. There is so much involved. So the government has taken all this into account, calculated the processing charges that will cover for the blood bank, and they have put it out openly on the site.
Tell me, do you think the government needs to help a little more in the blood bank sector? Is the government doing enough, or do you want the government to do something more? Something is lacking. Why are we not picking up that fast?
You're absolutely right. We boast that we have the highest youth in the country. Correct. Who are the most eligible donors. But why is it that they are not coming forward? Why is it even today India has less than 1% of the population donating blood, when it can more than cover this situation? It's because there's not enough awareness being created, and blood banks are too small to create this awareness on a large scale. It should constantly be created and put up in different ways. There are so many ways in which people can do it now. We try our best. Like today I was in the FM talking about this.
But tell me,
today happens to be our Prime Minister Modi ji's
birthday. Yes, happy birthday.
There are a lot of blood banks conducting blood donation camps, and that's an honor. But it should happen like that every day. That's our wish, so that there is no shortage.
But don't you think that the national policy should adopt broadcasting blood and maybe make it compulsory in some places, or at least awareness should be so much that we should encourage our youth to try it at least once. See, people are frightened. Many younger people, they are eligible, but they are frightened to go to the blood bank, and that fear has to go. Do you think the national policy for health should include a compulsory session so that they're exposed to the, you know, the beauty of feeling as a donor? First time they give it, you feel so precious.
Yes, definitely that, Meenu. And not only that, today I have a public relation department which goes around the organizations of Vishakhapatnam asking for blood. And they say yes, and in the last minute something happens and they withdraw. It is such a thing to repeatedly keep asking. It takes up so much of our time.
True, true.
Instead, if there is enough awareness, and if the government says all the organizations should conduct one blood donation camp in a year, that will be a very, very useful.
It is compulsory, they will do it. Like how you do CSR, compulsory, you should also do it.
Yes, otherwise people don't find the time, or this is always a thing that can be handled later.
Correct, very true. Tell me about this NAT test. We hear a lot about this NAT test. What is this NAT test, Sugandhi?
It's a nucleic acid test. Today, I am doing testing by US FDA approved kits.
Okay.
There is a wide range of testing parameters available in our country, from something known as a spot test to a semi-auto analyzers to fully automated analyzers like what we have. And we have gone 3 steps ahead of that. We have fully automated analyzers integrated into our software system, so that once the results come, it is automatically uploaded into our software. There is no manual additions happening, and it will automatically reject the blood bags which are positive.
Okay.
So there's no way we can give a positive bag by error.
Okay.
But today, there are blood banks which just do these small spot tests, and that's it. We have a documentary evidence, we have a digital evidence, we have a traceability from the donor to the patient, so that we are clear. Tomorrow, if somebody comes and asks, in fact, after post-COVID, some people are coming and asking, I have come positive, looks like, could it have been from your blood bank? Okay. Then we are able to give them the full traceability of that and say, see, did you take blood anywhere else also? And then they say yes. So for our side, we can give the proof, but we can't give the proof for everybody.
So if a donor comes to you and you harvest the donor, they might hide information. So then also they could be rejected at the stage 2 at the pathology department, where the analyzer can say that this blood doesn't work, isn't it? So they can be rejected. The blood packet can be rejected, saying this donation is of no use.
You can do all the tests in the world, Meenu, but there is nothing like starting with a voluntary donor.
Okay.
Okay. Because a lab has over 2 lakhs tests today, which you can do on the human body. It doesn't mean anything unless a truthful voluntary donor walks in, tells you his medical history properly, and we take the right person's blood after checking his eligibility. Yeah. And after that, we do these parameters.
You know, we watch in films, the regional language films, that the hero is so poor that every month he lands up to donate his blood because somebody pays him some money and he's not supposed to donate, but he comes back and back again and again, and they keep harvesting him. So, where does this come from?
I hope nowadays films are not doing that. I sincerely hope. These are the kind of wrong messages that have gone into the society, apart from not giving the right messages. And not only that, movies like Amar Akbar, Antony, 3 people lying down, blood flowing from one person to the other. I mean, it's criminal.
Live from one brother to another, to another, to another.
Today, it's almost 24 hours by the time we collect and we issue to the issue level.
How do you handle crisis? Now, most of your demands are crisis. There is somebody who's had an accident, or there's a patient who's bleeding, or there is a cancer child who needs help. How do you handle this? Because, you have a certain number of units. You have to very judiciously use your, how do you handle crisis?
This is why it's very important to talk to the surgeon, the concerned doctor. So what is the alternate that can be given? This point has to be discussed, and the process has to be going on by the time we collect blood and test it and give again. Because today a patient who requires blood just doesn't require 1 unit. He requires multiple components, and many a times, if it is a cancer patient, multiple times. I know a friend of mine who had cancer ovary, and I have myself given her 67 units.
Oh,
of
wow, wow, wow.
Today, last 20 years, I have been giving thalassemia children blood, and they come definitely once a month, sometimes twice a month to take blood. So, this story goes on. A patient doesn't mean that it's a one-time blood requirement. Many patients require it multiple times.
And they're emotionally attached to the bank because that is the only way they get their supply.
And not only that, if they have taken the first blood wrongly, after that nothing cross matches properly. After that, some complications develop, and we find it so difficult to give the right blood. So, again, we have to discuss with doctors, make them sign a risk consent from the patient's relative, and then give the best possible match, because we cannot give a complete match.
Correct. You know, when we need to invest our money, we go to a bank. We put our money in and then we watch our money grow. When we need to be good or give back to society, we come to a blood bank or to an organ donation bank, and we invest our goodwill, and the only thing we can give free, happily, is our blood. You must be having lot of stories.
So beautifully you put it. In fact, it is said that when a donor donates blood, the happy hormones are released.
Yes.
And that is beneficial to the donor.
Yes.
And each time a donor becomes a repeat voluntary donor, the donor takes pride in the donation. He knows that he is healthy, and that is why the blood bank is accepting him. And he takes all the effort to keep himself healthy.
Correct.
Like Anantram. He was a blood donor till he was eligible to donate.
No, both my sons, the 18th birthday, they walked into your blood bank. See, they were waiting to turn 18 so that they could do it. See, there are so many things about blood, and there are myths and misnomers, lots of things to discuss. But I wanted to ask you more about patient stories. See, you might have, at crisis, you wouldn't have realized, maybe during COVID or maybe accident, you might have saved lives without even your knowing. I might have donated my blood without knowing where my blood is going. So my blood left my body, and after that, I'm not connected. But that blood gave life. It's flowing through somebody else's body. There is a beautiful connection, like the umbilical connection, there is connective tissue. Tell me some good stories if you can share with the audience.
Yeah. See, we used to introduce the donor to the patient in the early days. Later, it became a law that they should not. That's because the patient, when he is taking a lot of therapy, is mentally a little traumatized. And whatever happens to him, he thinks, maybe I took this person's blood, that is why.
He blames that person.
That sort of thinking can come.
Correct.
And the donor develops an abnormal affection. These are the processes which are not welcome. So, all over the world, the donor and the patient don't meet. That is the method today. But we know it is going to save lives. We have seen so many instances. Like, for example, during the COVID time, there was a lockdown and no blood supply. Of course, all the hospitals were also shut down except for emergency service. So, the requirement for blood came down drastically. But what about my thalassemia children? They require blood to live. They can't be just isolated, and I don't know for how many weeks this will go on. So, I ran to the police commissioner, asked him to give us a special permission. He said, how am I sure that people won't take advantage of this and start roaming in the roads?
Correct.
So, then I went to my IT department, and they beautifully designed a WhatsApp message, which is which cannot be duplicated, and which gives a time bound okay from the police department to come, donate and go back.
So did you get donors
And only
at that
for
time?
that. Yes, of course. How can I leave my thalassemia children?
But imagine the donors, how brave of them. Such
And
wonderful.
we went into our entry or already stored entry, requested the donor, told them specifically what that kid is, what they are doing, because every thalassemia kid we know personally what is happening, and they are amazing first rankers among many of them. So we tell them, you won't believe, everybody came. And who helped me for all this? Mr. Somayajulu.
Oh, he's a wonderful person.
Retired Justice of
Yes,
Andhra
yes. You
Pradesh.
needed a lawyer and a cock.
He's our trustee also, Meenu.
Wonderful. You have good people. See, unless you have good people understanding the value of what you're doing, you're not going to go ahead because there are a lot of bad people equally who want to pull you down. There are a lot of myths and misconceptions for blood. What are the main misconceptions that you come across now, today, after all the education we give, after all the awareness? What are the few things that you might think are the common misconceptions?
Yeah, the most common misconception people feel is it will make them weak.
Correct.
So they feel if I give blood today, I should not do any work, I should take rest, I should be rested for how many days? Why can't my organization give 5 days leave? This sort of thinking comes. In a proper donor, he has extra blood.
Correct.
That is the only blood you are donating. And that your body makes it up in a few weeks.
And it's the fresher, better blood cells come. Is that true?
Fresher blood cells come, you are a happier person, every donor is a healthier person, what more they can want? And that's why it's a win-win situation. The donor is healthy, the patient is healthy.
Is it true that the heart condition also improves once you start becoming a regular donor? Is it a myth or is it true?
There are a lot of facts pointing towards that. In fact, India is going to become the topmost country for sudden cardiac deaths, topmost country for diabetes. So, like you said, maybe the youth should get motivated to donate blood because repeated blood donation reduces the iron overload in the donor's body, and that is one of the reasons why the heart gets diseased.
Sugandhi, see, there's lots about blood that people know. Now, the awareness is a little good. But blood banking, see, giving your blood is a different thing. But taking the onus of collecting that blood, keeping it safe, giving it back without any, expectation, unconditionally is what you do from the NGO. So, when you do all this, how do you feel? I mean, because you know that there's people don't understand. Even now it's a lonely battle for everybody. Nobody understands a blood banker. Why are they doing it? What are they getting out of it? Are they making money out of this? Is this a sham or a scam in the name of a medical help? So you must be facing both sides of the coin. So slowly people are understanding that yes, she's standing for 30 years. She's not disappeared because she knows. So how does it feel when you go into the public, you know that you are accepted by some, not accepted by some. How do you feel when you interact with people on your theme?
Whenever I go to organizations, organizations which know us by reputation have no issues about giving blood. But there are a lot of new organizations coming into the city, and when we approach them, we find the HRs are not aware of this concept enough, and they think, why should I take this risk? What if the donors faint? What if something happens to them? I have enough problems to face. Why should I face this additional problem? That kind of an attitude they come with. And we go 2 or 3 times, create awareness in him first, educate them, show them examples, and then they also recollect how one of their family members required blood. And this, what is the advantage of conducting a blood donation camp? And slowly it sinks. But once some people have done it 2 or 3 times, then they are least hesitant about doing it. One of the, a couple of colleges I have to mention in this regard in this city, which have been very consistent in donating blood. One is Paida College, which from the last 30 years, every year they've been donating blood.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And Prism College, which conducts camps twice a year, almost the only college I know, conducts it so regularly. And there are Aditya, Vignan, all these colleges do come forward. Yeah, and Samata and that group also comes forward, Alvarda's group. They all have started giving repeatedly blood donation camps.
Tell me, when you go for these blood donation camps, I remember doing it in corporates, and the response is good because everybody is trying to prove to the peer group. But when you do it for younger children, do students, I mean, I think they are the most genuine group of people, and when they come once, you can be sure that for life they're hooked to the concept.
That's why I enjoy going to colleges and doing, because first thing is they get initiated by us, and they, you know how children are, they take everything with a pinch of joke, and once they are among friends, they are also not worried or anything. They love the concept, they go ahead, and we know at the end of the day we have initiated so many people into voluntary blood donation, and today it's a global village. Tomorrow they may be in US, they may be in Japan or France. They will continue that concept.
They will become your ambassador.
Or they can be anywhere in India working. They will donate blood. Doesn't matter, it has to be for me. It has to serve the purpose, serve the society. Yeah.
Sugandhi, what is the future of the A.S. Raja Voluntary Blood Bank?
Frankly, Meenu, I started the blood bank thinking the government will initiate the hub and spoke model in Andhra Pradesh also, like it is there in many advanced states in the country. But to my surprise, even today it hasn't happened. That is the biggest disappointment I have, because in a hub and today we are a hub. We have more than enough equipment, manpower, process to be a hub, but we need the satellite centers, and it should be a more regulated affair. It will be so that the city automatically gets safer blood. Not only city, North Coastal Andhra will get safer blood. And advanced tests like the NAT test that you are telling me, which is a nucleic acid test, very expensive. It requires a separate infrastructure. All that can be established, and we'll have a very safe blood. And this might help medical tourism in Visakhapatnam.
Very true, very true. You know, our state has a wonderful leader in our Chief Minister, and a great system, including the IS officer who's a Director of Health, who served Visakhapatnam earlier, a very dynamic officer. I'm sure if you can tell them and express to them, our state will surely come up with some ideas. And A.S. Raja being such a leading player in the state, I wish you all the best, and I hope that all these desires of yours to put the Vizag onto the map, the world map of blood donation, comes true, especially when there is so much satellite space available around for us to help touch the villages around us. Do you think it's good for a younger person to also want to invest their time in blood banking at this time?
Definitely. Why did our family start this? Because we wanted to give back to the society. And today there are so many youth who equally have that in mind. So why not? More and more people should get involved in this concept. So India soon should not look for blood donors. It should have adequate, more than adequate for its needs.
Yes, such a pleasure to talk to you, Sugandhi. If I missed out on anything, any message you want to give to the people who helped you, who are listening to you, this is your time now.
Yes. Thank you, my dear camp organizers and donors. You are the lifeline. Please understand that, because voluntary blood donation is the highest in quality. It has been proven all over the world again and again. And you all are the benchmark for quality in this aspect. And please continue to be repeated, regular voluntary donors to serve the society. I'm sure many of you would want to be 100 times donors. Please go ahead, youth. I really request you all to spare that half an hour, 45 minutes, because that's all the time it takes. And if you become a single donor platelet donor, you require about 3 hours. But look at it the other side. It's of enormous advantage to the society, to multiple patients, and you donate blood and blood products, you become healthier, you make patients healthier, and you save lives. So please think of adding this in your routine and make it a part of your routine to donate regularly. Every male member can donate once in 3 months, and every lady can donate once in 4 months. Please keep it as an integral part of your routine. Thank you.
For all those who are watching us, blood donation is one of the most noble donations you can do. It's free, it's painless, And more than anything else, it helps you not just mentally and physically, also ethically. You will be serving your nation correctly because every 3 to 4 months, you will have the happiness of helping 3 people every time you donate blood. It doesn't make you weak, it makes you stronger. It makes your heart thank you for being able to be kind to somebody else. And there's always a blood bank around the corner, especially good people like Dr. Sugandhi of AS Raja Voluntary Blood Bank who are waiting. They are not a commercial bank. They are your NGO partners. They are your CSR partners. They are your brothers and sisters who are waging a war against pain, against blood, against those who are crying and dying without that little drop of blood. So be an ambassador, be a spark of hope, and remember, blood is thicker than water. God bless you all. Thank you so much. And if you like this episode, do subscribe. And I'm sending you details of AS Raja Voluntary Blood Bank. Go there, donate, tell me how you feel.